I also want to talk today, Coillte, about the 70,000 semi-state pensioners from Bord Namona, ESB, RTE, CIE, Bord Gais, Eircom, Coillte, the aviation staff, and the port and docks. And these are people across all our constituencies who have devoted their working lives for the benefit of the state. They have provided the nation's electricity, gas, peat, radio and television, telecommunications, aviation and a myriad of other state services which we all take for granted. They are represented by the retired semi-state staff associations, and they presented in the AV room this morning, and I have to acknowledge Breed Smith for gathering there and the people who gathered. But there were so few people there this morning. This is an enormously important issue, I think, as people will see again when there's a demonstration outside the gates here again tomorrow. Because it's wrong that these pensioners, because they are former workers, that their rights under the contract of employment are ignored. These pensioners have nowhere to go. These pensioners do not have any body or organisation to refer to grievances. The 12-month time bar is ludicrous. It's a ludicrous impediment to these workers seeking justice under the Equality Tribunal. In the same way that the Industrial Relations and the Pensions Ombudsman and unions and pension authorities all close the door on thousands of former workers from addressing their grievances. But this legislation must be changed, and it must be changed, and I'm not saying it's not about acquiring public money for these people. As they said this morning, these people just want their own money back. But under current legislation, there's no obligation on employers to fund deficits in their pension schemes. So there's no real protection for these pensioners against efforts by solvent employers to renege on the responsibility to their pension schemes and to address a fund deficit. The proposed new legislation, which was introduced in the Social Welfare Pensions and Civil Registration Bill of 2017, is an opportunity for Minister Doherty to introduce full legal protection for pensioners. And there has to be financial consequences for solvent employers who abdicate responsibility for their pension schemes and fail to make contributions to resolving pension funds deficit. The debt on the employer concept for the amount of the unresolved pension fund deficit is urgently required and must be enshrined in pension law without further delay. And I'd ask you, Leader, if you could ask the Minister to come into the House to address this issue specifically. It cannot continue to go on. These people haven't had any pay increase whatsoever since 2008. Not only that, but a 2.5% lifelong levy has been imposed on them. And we've had all the increases in the cost of living and everything else. Many of them are looking to benevolent funds just to survive. And it is wrong that we should treat former workers like that.